Oh, hey guys, I didn't see you there.
I'm just kidding, I saw everyone.
Welcome to PvZ between NexApple and StarTales Ace. This is on Entombed Valley. It's not dropping frames. And this is gonna be an awesome game with a nice quality cast and just good StarCraft fun. Guys, I missed you. And I feel like I'm saying that every cast these days because every cast is few and far between, but not this one, and not the one after it, because this is a best of 3. And it's gonna be pretty freaking awesome, because as far as I know, this is from an IPL or a GSL or something like that. I can't remember. I had it sent to me from Zergrush. Cool guy. He's actually been hunting for replays for me and been sending them to me. And he even, like I tell you guys all the time, I don't watch games before I cast them. So Zergrush is kind of my quality filter. He just as of late. He hasn't done this for very long, but just recently he's started to be my quality filter. Basically, he'll go through a replay and watch it so that I can watch it and cast it with excitement, not knowing what's going on. And look at this probe blocking the expansion. This is almost better than putting down a pylon, although most Zerg players will actually bring down 2 drones, so it's surprising to see that this guy only brought down 1 or didn't have Zerglings or anything like that. Allowed that probe to delay that quite a bit. Anyway, that being said, yeah, so quality filter. Zergrush is allowing me to cast games with a fresh perspective, not knowing what's going to happen, but still guaranteeing a really great game. And I think that's a great system, so cool beans. Big round of applause to Zergrush. His name is M1A YouTube or something like that. On I don't know how to say his name on YouTube, but something like that. Taking a drink of my cola. We've got overlords floating around the map, Zergs chasing probes, and there's Zergs. And double gas guys are here for the Protoss. So I don't want to yell out that that's going to be any kind of heavy tech yet. We'll see whether or not he saturates these 2 gases, which is a huge indicator. You Zerg players, sit an Overlord back here, man, because these double gases right here, that's the indicator of heavy pressure or not. If those 2 gases are taken, you can bet that there's not really going to be a huge attack coming at you until, like, you know, around the 9-10 minute mark. But if they're not taken, you kind of have to be careful. It doesn't guarantee an attack, but there's a good chance that an attack is coming at you. Protoss players, just always check for this 3rd base. This is I guess it's the main indicator of the Zerg player as well. This 3rd base, you need to check if it's there, and even then you need to keep coming back to make sure it stays there and that it isn't getting cancelled. Because a 2 base all in will crush a Protoss wall if he doesn't expect it. He has to know it's coming, he has to get those sentry, and he has to add more than 1 cannon to his wall. It's the only way he's going to hold off like a big, you know, 2 base roachling all in. And even then, yeah, it's scary as hell. We do see a little bit of a supply block from the Zerg player here, but now remedying that. And yeah. So Overlord's in good position, and you can see he is watching these gas, and you'll see both those gas go down now. So pretty safe to say that there's going to be no real heavy pressure until at least the 10-minute mark. And getting those sentry, because I guess he knows that. He's going for the long haul, he's going to get sentry to defend this position. Nice defensive, sturdy play is the way Protoss like to play the game nowadays. Because I think a lot of them feel like aggression doesn't really pay off anymore, but you'll still see the odd Protoss going for that early Stargate play and really bringing the noise to the Overlords and Queens and just trying to do as much damage as possible. But you know, as almost literally as you can say it, Zerg are the cockroaches of StarCraft. They just you kill 100 drones, you know, and they grow them back. A game ago, I killed 13 Overlords with 5 Phoenix and didn't lose any of them against the Zerg who was doing the Stefano Roach. And just because of the nature of that build, you know, they get all their Overlords at once, like so they can supply 200 Roaches. And despite how many Overlords I killed, it just didn't matter because he had oversupplied roach overlords, and he could still build this massive roach army. He was still at like 140 supply to my 80 something, and I was like, well, shit. I didn't have Colossus yet because I opened with the Phoenix, and it just didn't matter. So I think that's why a lot of Protoss are like, well, I'm just not going to leave. I'm just going to build a huge, scary army that can deal with 2 maxed armies from Zerg, because that's what happens. You wander into the map, butcher an army, and then it remaxes instantly. So we do have these Phoenix out on the map. If you hide your eye on the production tab, you'll notice that. You're gonna get a queen. Might get some overlords. No, not gonna stick around. Queens are the important target because, like I said, they can replace a million overlords over and over and over again. But they can only do that if they have queens. So you can see him sniping the queens here, which is definitely the important target that stops the injects. Another queen will come here, and it also forces him to spend 150 minerals. And the less queens, the less he can defend against the Phoenix, right? So pop those queens, man. It's also creep spread, right? And transfuse later. I don't know. Every queen death is awesome because they can only build 1 per hatchery, so it's harder for them to recover. It's like a twofold thing, right? No injects, plus it's harder for them to recover. Double spore here, protecting this queen. So he doesn't want to go in there with his Phoenix. And gonna pick up a few drones that are in transfer. So this Phoenix is pretty much paid for himself now. They've gotten 3 queens, a bunch of drones. I think they've gotten an overlord. And you'll notice in the production tab, he stopped at 5 Phoenix. And I think a lot of Zerg won't notice that. I'm not sure if this Zerg noticed it or not. But, like, low level, I shouldn't say, like, even a Master League Zerg will see those Phoenix and be like, oh, damn. And they'll overcompensate for 5 Phoenix. We do see Ling counterattack. I think he's hoping that there won't be enough here to deal with Lings because there's only air units. And Lings are so scary against a Protoss who's gone air because he just usually has a composition he can't shoot down. Like, these Phoenix could never kill these Lings if there was no ground army here to help them. So keep that in mind, and then it's up to the Protoss player. Like, I love this wall. This is a nice fast wall, getting that up. And this wall here, this was brilliant because it really helped him morph his wall into like a double defend. Like, he didn't lock himself in, but now he's got this nice hallway into his 3rd. And so, really clever building setup here on Entombed Valley. It's one of the more awkward maps to wall off on as Protoss. A lot of Zergs, or a lot of Protosses will start here and make their wall here because they're worried about these rocks being broken down. If they wall like this across here, just straight away, you know, these rocks can get broken down and then you're no longer walled off. So it's weird, it's strange. One observer in the middle of the map seeing all this, knowing that there's nothing joining up with this Ling count, but the other thing that those Lings tell... Hold on, oh god, oh no. Yeah, the other thing that these Lings kind of tell the Protoss player is that, you know, gas isn't going into his standard army, and that means some sort of tech is coming out. If you don't see roaches, you can bet that those Lings are a good sign of tech. So Protoss player scouting this 4th base now. Gonna get another queen. No! It's caught by fungal growth on the ground from NexApple, and it looks like he could lose all his Phoenix, although 1 seems to be here without any fungal on it. 2 Phoenix get away. 3 Phoenix for 1 queen. Not a good trade at all. At the very least, he dumped a bunch of energy on these infestors. But I don't feel like the Protoss player is willing to attack out of his base anytime soon. Although, here he goes. Gonna make me eat my words. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what he's planning on. He's safely on 3 bases. I mean, this is a sexy 3 bases pretty quick. Look at this, Startail Ace getting that fleet beacon. He's got warp prisms on the way with warp prism speed, and he's just now starting weapons 1 and armor 1, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. It's really late upgrades, but I mean, everything happens for a reason. Something like that. I just had this weird moment where I tasted garlic bread in my mouth, and I haven't had garlic bread in months. If I die during this cast, someone tell my brother I love him. Oh god. Anyway. But yeah. Cool beans. Taking his 4th. What a ballsy 4th. I mean, he's got this nice big army to protect it, but man, this map is so easy for Protoss to expand on. It's just so easy. Not so much against Terran because the drops, man. the drops can hop these cliffs. Like if a Terran drops here, and then picks up when you come to defend it and drops here, I mean, unless you're waiting for him there, or unless you have blink, that's a long freaking way to go to defend that drop. If you know what I'm saying, but hope you know what I'm saying. A lot of the time I say shit and it's just like, I hope you know what I'm saying, but if you don't, it's a bad thing. We got this warp prism loaded up with 4 zealots. Look at all these overlords. It's just like I've got a theme song in my head, but I'm afraid to sing it because I know I'm wrong. It's okay. Anyway, warp prism zipping around here. That warp prism speed makes them so fast. And if you've watched any of the Heart of the Swarm stuff, like the battle report, the Oracle is this fast too, and it's just like, yes. But I'm not sure if the Oracle is that fast after an upgrade or what. But man, the Zerg player knows that shit's coming. He spotted it with the Overlords. These 4 zealots are gonna get in here and probably do nothing. They do manage to snipe a queen. You know, yeah, I don't know. And of course, the zealots do manage to kill a bunch of zealots. So it means, you know, it was a reasonable trade. 150 minerals worth of queens, and a bunch of zerglings for 400 minerals worth of zealots. Not a big deal. And it stops those injects. That's the biggest thing. You want to stop those injects. You want to stop that production. And holy ball sack, Batman, we've got broodlords. And this is probably the most difficult. What's the word? Oh my god. Let me think about it while I yawn. Sorry guys, it's like 7 in the morning. But that's okay. Yeah, these are composition. That was the word I was looking for. The Broodlord Infestor, man. That is the scariest composition that a Protoss can deal with. And yeah. Once that hits the map and the Zerg starts to bank money and gas, it's really, really, really frightening because it takes the most delicate decision making in the world and just the perfect balance of, you know, splash damage and focus firing units to deal with that, and you usually trade pretty hard. But then, with a big bank, the Zerg and his larva can replace that army instantly. Like, the second you killed it, he's remaxed again. And it's just like, oh man. And you can't reproduce Colossus like that, or Archons. It's just, you can't make that many that fast. Stalker's actually catching a drone transfer at the perfect time. Like, that couldn't have gone better. Dropping a zealot in here to finish it off, and some force fields here to block the broodlords from getting in. Sniping one broodlord. No, of course it's not going to stop the broodlords. It's going to stop the ground army and the broodlings that were already on the ground. Warp Prism going to go around to the right, and a fungal growth goes down in the army, and a mass recall to the mothership in the natural. Great escape after sniping this expansion. Where's the Warp Prism? I don't see the Warp Prism. Did it get caught? There it is. So fungal growth goes down on this Warp Prism and makes it, turns it into a little less of a never-ending story for the Zerg player. And look at all the spines. These stalkers are like, well, shit. Just a little wall around the stalkers with spine crawlers. Not a good moment for that stalker. Or the zealot. Just kind of left behind, man. Protoss is brutal, but not the player. Don't. Oh well. Anyway, big engagement here. Cloaked death ball. It's like, what's more awesome than a Protoss death ball? Well, Jimmy, an invisible Protoss death ball with a mothership and Vortex and Dick Cheney. Yeah. Okay. Lots of infestors, man. We're counting like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. Just don't worry about it. That's so much stuff. And I don't know when this got here. But this is, run away! Run away! A bunch of infestors, run away! Infested Terran can't shoot that far. Ha! He's just gonna try to fungal it to death. Oh, they can hit it. They can hit it, but not anymore. It moved like an inch, and he gets away. Oh, and he wastes another fungal. That was fantastic. Protoss taking his 5th base. It's a good thing. It meant 5 base Protoss against 4 base Zerg. He's mine dead at the main, so not a good thing. And the Archons, man, the Archons are such an important part of the composition here for the Protoss because these broodlings, that's the problem. But with the right amount of Archons, the broodlings just melt before they do any real damage. Like of course there's that initial damage that the broodlords do upon contact, but the broodlings do a lot of blasting damage, and that's the issue. So the Archons clean that up nicely, and it just allows defense for the Stalkers to really pick them apart. And I have to say that the Protoss player is doing this the right way. Instead of really engaging this cloud of death directly, he's been picking the Zerg apart piece by piece with the warp prisms and just zealots and shit like that, denying expansions. There's a big drone transfer here. Hopefully the zealot catches it for the Protoss' sake, and for the Zerg's sake, I hope he doesn't get pincered between these cannons and the Protoss death ball, because I don't think that would be a good thing. There is a mothership back in this army, and look at this, spreading infested Terran over here just to give warning of the Protoss death ball before it's too late. And it looks like Zerg will be able to take that expansion out. I'm not really sure what's going to happen swatting those overseers, which I think that was the only one. No, okay, I'm just kidding. There's 2 more here. And I don't think the Protoss players will be able to get those. And a huge vortex on all the anti-air, allowing this mothership to stay in the game a little bit longer. And the Protoss player needs to get under those broodlords. Mothership goes down, that vortex clears out, and there's a whole lot of corruptors back in the air. But the big thing, I think he got both the overseers in that vortex, and I don't know how cloak works in that regard. If the overseer in that vortex still gives detection, I don't know, man. He seemed to be shooting at the Protoss still, so that was strange. But man, that stalker just gets mauled. And a bunch of broodlords. Oh my god, so many broodlords. I think that's 15 broodlords right there. And the Colossus ball is getting pretty tiny. There's only 4 Colossus in there, 2 Archons. Just gonna have a lot of trouble dealing with this. The one thing about it is it's far more mobile than the Zerg army is. A lot of spine crawlers here defending the Zerg base, which is a big deal, and a bunch of Blinkstalkers here coming out of his warp prism. He knows he needs to trade, he knows he needs to be mobile. He can get through way more Zerg base in a shorter amount of time than the Zerg can through him. And you'll notice that there's a bunch of Void Rays turning out here. He had, I think, 3 Void Rays in production at the same time at one point. There's 2 Stargates here. Look at all the High Templar here as well. And I don't know, man. Lots and lots and lots and lots of Void Rays, but just a couple good fungal growths will make that not matter. Not to mention all the corruptors here, as well as this huge tear through the Zerg base that the Protoss is doing right now. This is going to be quite the base trade, man. And all the Protoss needs is a good engagement from those corruptors against these High Templar and the Void Ray. He can win that pretty one-sidedly if those corruptors bulge up. But losing a lot of his pylons, the Protoss player is getting supply blocked. And it looks like here, the Void Rays will engage the Corruptors. Storm goes down to soften them all. Will it be enough? More Storm going down. There's lots of fungal growth on these Void Rays as Archons get morphed in, but I think they will die before they can do anything. The Void Rays have to retreat because of the infested Terran. These Archons try to get away, but they're just not going anywhere. And all these infestors here are empty. They have no energy right now. Probe's gonna come out. Look at all the High Templar over here as well, and still more Void Rays in production as this Protoss army pretty much goes unchallenged. Just static defense slowly peeling it apart. Colossus makes static defense a little bit silly. Picking apart more Queens. The Zerg player realizes he needs to come home, dumping a bunch of infested Terran on this Nexus to make sure it can't mine, to make sure it goes down while his army is elsewhere. But I don't know if those infested Terran can kill it in time. before their little health bar expires. Looks like they might get it. And here comes the big third death ball. Nothing in the production tab for either player. Just shows how desperate this game is. But there's 2,000 in the bank for the Protoss player. I'm surprised he's not building anything. He will build another Nexus, as the one we watched the Invested turn at did fall, and a huge recall from the Protoss player to his natural here, his third base. And yeah, this Protoss ball just got bigger now that it's joined up with Void Rays and High Templar. I think this is a bad situation for the Zerg player. Even though he's got this massive army, this is just the right composition to deal with it. He's got feedback for those infestors. He still has observers on the map, I think, maybe. I don't know for sure. He's got this one. He could be making better use of that, I think. But yeah, no, this is the right composition. All those Void Rays. He's got the split Blink Stalkers. He's got the Colossus for the splash damage against the Broodlings. But there's a lot of Corruptors in the sky again. I don't really know how that happened so fast. But this is the moment. This is the do or die moment. And I feel like the Protoss player should have made this expansion farther away, just because the more distance that this army has to travel, the more effective it is for the Protoss player. And oh my God, the Zerg player just made those. Those are the last units he built with his last bit of money. We see a mind control on that mothership, but actually gets sniped, the infestor responsible. Storm goes down on those Corruptors, and the Void Rays just clean the leftovers up. Infested Terran come out with the last bit of energy on those infestors, and the Void Rays will go to town on the Broodlords, but they're not focus firing, they're just attacking random Broodlings. That's not what they need to do. They need to focus fire those Broodlords, and there is something. I don't know what that means, but there's something from NexApple, probably some form of GG. Well played, or good game, or excellent match. I don't know. Cool game, though. And these players will go... Did I say this was a best of 3? It's a best of 3. These players are going to go into game 2. The Protoss player taking game 1. I'll see you guys next time.